made this?
Yes, because in Texas, everybody wears a Stetson.
Country road.
All right.
ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني.
Dude, this is the X-Files or fucking Homeland or Tyrant. What the fuck? Awkward? No, seriously, I'm not watching the X-Files. What? Okay.
You know that didn't literally happen, right?
I'm just saying, it's your book. Hello? Anyone down here?
Nobody but the FBI's most unwanted. I've been waiting 23 years to say that.
How do you feel?
Pretty good.
Yeah. It's open. Come on in.
Special Agent Fox Mulder?
Oh.
Speaking.
Yummy,
To
Robbie
whom
and
am
Mel.
I speaking?
I'm Special Agent Miller. This is Special Agent Einstein.
You're Special Agent Einstein?
I claim distant relation, which is where our energy would be better spent trying to stop live terrorists rather than stopping to try to speak with dead ones.
I have to say I agree.
There have been noted divinators, oracles, fakirs,
What's with all the
necromancers who
comedic
claim
faces?
the ability.
Madame Blavatsky, founder of Theosophism, brought to America a so-called ancient wisdom gained from Tibetan Jewish.
She's clearly in love with him.
You spent all of 5
Well-
minutes with them. How do you know that?
Nothing else would explain it.
Maybe he values her open mind.
Maybe she challenges his BS.
Oh my god, seriously.
Special Agent Miller speaking.
Agent Miller, this is Agent Scully.
Hey, 1 second. I'll meet you on the plane.
Why is she calling him?
Hi.
You might wonder why I'm calling.
I have an idea of how you might communicate with your terrorists.
I think it's Special Agent Miller you're looking for.
No,
Yeah,
I need to speak with you. I got your number
Why not
from
that
A.D.
way?
Walter Skinner, who sings your praises, by the way.
Yes, I help.
Him with his migraines, which he plans to do to you.
In any case, I was hoping I might impose upon you to delay your trip out to Texas.
Why do you think these guys are acting this way? Why do you think that guy went up and shot 5 servicemen in Chattanooga? Because they loved him? Because we treated him well?
I see this episode making me feel really awkward. The fuck?
It's a legitimate question.
There's a legitimate answer. No.
How can you be so sure?
Because when I stand on the scale and think of ice cream, my ass doesn't grow. Need I illustrate further?
Yes, but I'm sure you believe that words have weight, the weight to move people to go kill other
As
people.
fast as I could.
You say I'm blown away you came down here to help me at all.
Oh, I sensed your frustration.
I just want to
Oh
believe
my
there's some way
God,
of
look at all
reaching
the
this young man and
Stetsons.
learning what he might know.
Well, I believe there may be, but not the way you think.
What way is that, Agent Scully?
Well, not through an oracle or a psychic or a seer, but through science.
I don't know how you mean.
We get it. It's Texas,
It may
not
sound heavy, but
Vancouver.
This is a bit of a personal quest for me. My mother was in a coma recently, and I wasn't able to communicate with her either.
I take it she's passed.
I wish I'd had the presence of mind to think of this when she was still alive. I might have solved a mystery that I may never know.
Aww.
Please enlighten me, Agent Mulder, how 9 years of college, 3 degrees, and 2 years at Quantico has left me such a simpleton.
Not a simpleton. A mugwump.
Exposition dump.
I resent that characterization. I don't even know what it means.
You sit down and shut up.
You bones.
You talk to Agent Scully like that?
Only when she's being a mugwump. Please, have a seat.
Are you proposing, Agent Mulder, that we administer the magic mushroom to the terrorist?
No. I'm proposing that you administer it to me so that I can communicate with the terrorist, learn what he knows, and prevent future acts of terror.
To a technically dead man.
Death is
So
now
you
put
called
by
me
some-
back here to ask me to administer this drug, this illicit Schedule 1 substance.
As a medical professional.
Which Agent Scully is as well.
Agent
Yeah,
Scully
and-
has recently had her own life-altering death experience, and I don't want to bother her with this.
Yeah, but she's probably more likely to give it to you than...
Oh, so you want to just keep it
Einstein.
between us?
I would, if you don't mind.
No. No, I wouldn't mind at all.
I mean, you'd probably get your ass
Because
kicked,
there will
but...
be absolutely nothing to say, except maybe to internal affairs if I were to go through with this lunatic scheme.
What is lunatic about it exactly?
Everything? And rest assured, Agent Mulder, when I walk out of here, I will never again darken your basement door.
So that's a maybe?
Again, what's with all the over-the-top expressions?
It's hard to imagine there's someone in there when you're...
I'm Special Agent Miller.
I'm Special Agent Miller.
I'm gonna ask you to leave. FBI has no more jurisdiction.
Oh my god, another
Jurisdiction.
continuum
Department of
actor.
Homeland Security.
I was assigned this case. Agent Scully is a medical doctor. We think we can communicate.
Communicate. To say what?
So wait, instead of asking questions, you're gonna phone Mulder. Wow,
Mulder, it's
you're
Agent
really, morally conscious.
Texas. While this may seem foolhardy, I am anticipating results that you will actually be communicating with the terrorist somehow. Now, what he may say to you or you to him, I have no clue.
What? Where did this sudden belief that they'll be able to communicate come
How do
from?
you say howdy, partner, in Arabic?
Why are they being from? Oh, let me guess, she's like his girlfriend or something. I will avenge you.
Receives so much attention, especially one who's so unworthy of it.
What?
Well, this is a special case.
Just like all those immigrant groups coming over here, taking all our jobs, clogging up the healthcare system and
Wait,
our
wait,
schools.
she's just a
Don't
run-of-the-mill
even speak English.
racist?
We're not gonna fix that right now, so...
A church group brought 200 Arab refugees to our town.
Didn't this happen to him in Californication or something? No! Aquarius! He had this happen when they slipped him the Mickey and that. Dear David, redoing. Oh my god. I just realised his head looks like Lord of the Flies kid.
مع بعض اكبسوا الزر تنتقلون إلى الحياة الخالدة الموت للكفار والمجد لله الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر
Oh, jeez, Chris Carter, seriously.
Can you hear my voice? We need to set up a baseline. Set up questions that serve as yes-no answers. It will be painstaking and difficult.
Oh,
He certainly hears us.
I'm glad we got the time then.
The power of suggestion.
Oh, you were there. And the lone gunman?
Oh my god, they're ripping off the
Yeah, I
triangle.
was in Washington, Agent Mulder. This is what I'm saying. I think you're still tripping.
Well, the placebo effect has been known to have lasting psychological outcome.
I told
No, we're losing him.
Where are the doctors? Scully, you could at least attempt something. There's 2 medical doctors there and nobody does anything.
I'm so sorry.
idly by.
You talk to us. You talk to me.
Secret heart,
This is Bones.
what are you made of? What are you so afraid of?
Maybe some things are unexplainable, Agent Einstein.
Oh my god. We get it. Your baby Mulder and Scully.
The most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious.
It was you who abandoned me, Agent Einstein, for the crazy train.
And never again, Agent Miller.
I'll just kiss already.
Although something is clear to me now as a result of the experience.
Value of an open mind.
Not as good as the black eye 1940 Scully gave you.
I've been trying to do it right. I've been living a lonely life. I've been sleeping here instead.
You were on your own mission. And you would have never bought that.
Oh,
She would have.
right. I have to applaud her, though, on her clever trick with the placebo.
Yeah. Yeah.
So was it placebo or not?
Wonders never cease with you. That's the question. Maybe the question of our times.
Oh, will you two just go in and fuck already? I mean, go in and make up. That's totally what I meant. Wow, look at all that platonic hand holding.
Thinking about God.
You, Mulder?
Why is he hearing it and not her?
What?
Did you hear that?
I belong with you. You belong with me. You're my sweetheart. I belong with you.
Oh my god, it's the end of Improbable. Hey everybody, it's Wednesday the 17th of February 2016 and I just got done watching Babylon, which is the 5th episode of the new X-Files revival. It was written and directed by Chris Carter, and I had low expectations coming in because of, especially because my struggle was a bit of a downer. And I know Chris is kind of hit and miss with writing, but this, yeah, it was much worse than my expectations. I don't even know what the fuck I just watched, because seriously, this is the most mixed up, clunky, awkward watching episode I've ever watched. And it's weird because this had so much, there was so much that led up to this, because this was the 4th episode filmed. It would have come before Founder's Mutation had they stuck to the filming schedule. But rumours started circulating that basically this episode was going to deal with alternate realities. That it was going to... originally I was given the impression it was if Mulder and Scully hadn't given up William. Now I think actually what ended up being was actually Founder's Mutation, and that's where the confusion set in. But certainly another rumour I heard was that this was going to deal with if Scully hadn't joined the FBI. You know, there was a lot of this was going to have dream sequences in, and the reason why it got moved was because it was going to involve characters that had been in previous episodes, and that it wouldn't make sense to have them in dream sequences and then have them turn up as real characters after the episode. And so this, you know, was a big thing that was going on during the rumour mill and stuff. And Anne Simon, who's the science specialist on the show, was really putting it out there, like, oh, you're gonna love this episode. Oh, definitely check it. This is classic X-Files. This, that, and the other. So everybody was really, really hyped for it. And of course, there were the pictures, running about with Mulder and Scully hand holding and that. But most of us were under the impression that was a dream sequence. So me personally, I was just like, oh yeah, that'll be Chris Carter all over. That we get a dream sequence of them holding hands near their house, but they won't actually be together. And then, I believe critics saw it at the start of last week and didn't give it that good a review. Then, Friday, everybody was ablaze on Twitter and Facebook, especially X-Files News and other things, because Hulu, who streamed the show in America, they had accidentally leaked the episode 3 days early on Friday. Now, I believe it was up for an hour, and a lot of fans got to watch it and were immediately talking about it and spreading the spoilers. But then it went down, and then it came back online for a few minutes, and then it went offline again, and people didn't know whether it had been done on purpose. Nothing had been said by Fox or Hulu regarding its broadcast. But, people were like, oh, this is an excellent episode. I love it. It's, it's not as bad as the critics say. And those who haven't seen it, you must watch it on Monday. Yeah. Unfortunately, as is the way with the fans, a lot were just like, oh yeah, it's crap, but the hand-holding at the end makes it worthwhile. No, it doesn't. No. Because let's prepare for lots of ranting, okay? I warn you in advance. This video is going to involve a lot of rambling and a lot of ranting. Because this episode, there's nothing original about it. Chris Carter rips off a lot of his own episodes, including, as I said during the watch, Triangle, Improbable, and numerous other ones. And it starts out with this whole, a lot of people complained about the second movie, I Want to Believe, because there was nothing paranormal about it. And a lot of people were upset, especially because it involved, this paedophile priest who seemed to be being, vindicated and stuff. But this, from what I have constantly joked about being one of the most racist shows on TV, except for, I congratulated it that we've seen a lot more racial characters than that in this season, thanks to, the episodes particularly written by the three, in the between My Struggle and this. So I guess more the problem would be Chris Carter. But yes, we start with the classic supernatural story of some random Muslim apparently being a terrorist, and blowing up some art gallery, the Ziggurat, nudge nudge wink wink, for displaying some artwork that was offensive to Allah or depicted Muhammad or something like that. I wasn't quite clear on that. It was just standard, overused, cliched, racist, anti-other religion storyline. America, fuck yeah, and everybody else, fuck no. It was that kind of story. And, you immediately feel like you're watching something like Homeland or, I said Tyrant, but I don't really know much about Tyrant, so I can't really... what was the other show that I watched that dealt with? Touch. Made me think a lot of Touch, in a way. Not that it dealt with the same things, but I don't know. But yeah, just... It sets out with that all Muslims speak Arabic, are all of a racial skin colour, or, I was just like, what? And now bearing mind, the series got given special dispensation because a lot of shows now don't have the cold open teaser. But Fox gave, you know, the X-Files special because that is their basic structure. Now, we're talking about a series here that has always had some of the most iconic, gripping cold opens among a lot of other shows. And then you start with the most cliched start of, you know, seeing some poor guy, you know, praying and then going, meeting up with his mate and blowing up some building. And then the credits roll. And I'm sat there going, okay, so where's, like, are they going to come out alive? I mean, I guess you could say, like, the guy is technically alive, but, I'm like, is he going to, like, walk out of the flames? Is that going to be the paranormal thing or something? You know, I'm expecting something paranormal to happen, and it doesn't. And then you continue with, you then, like, see Baby Mulder and Scully, played by Lauren Ambrose and Robbie Amell, who we knew were going to be, like, we knew ahead, like, you know, one was going to be called Miller, and, you know, which, you know, totally on the nose, considering... what is it? Mulder is Dutch from Miller or something, or vice versa. And Einstein, and of course Scully wrote her thesis on Einstein's twin paradox. So this is as on the nose as it can get, and they have this back and forth, and you see Scully, because Einstein calls Miller by his surname instead of Agent Miller, and Scully sees the comparison, and you're all like, oh, that's nice, maybe she'll see, you know, they'll have this back and forth, and there's a little levity, but it feels really, really forced. And considering Mulder and Scully are supposed to be separated, and all that stuff, you know, there was all this flirtatious banter, but it didn't really have any ground to sit on. And yeah, and that's a big problem about this episode as well, because then I was really baffled about why, you know, Einstein is completely against Miller's thinking that they can communicate with this terrorist via otherworldly means like necromancers and gurus and stuff like that. She's totally against that. And this is what I didn't get as well, is Scully, who has a personal, she wishes she could have communicated with her mother, so instead of contacting Einstein to, you know, to give her scientific thoughts to, I guess because she could see that Einstein was being a total hard ass, she contacts Miller, which I kind of got, but I don't know why she and Mulder didn't get involved. I guess because, like me, with this whole problem with the episode, she saw that they wouldn't get the jurisdiction to go get involved, because there's nothing remotely paranormal about it. But she contacts Miller with this whole, oh, we can communicate via and do an encephalograph. I can't say the word. Encephalograph. And Mulder contacts Einstein with the proposal of inducing him with magic mushrooms, because, yes, let's advocate the notion of FBI agents taking controlled substances, and Einstein goes along with this just because she sees Miller and Scully together. And I'm like, wait, what? She totally thinks he's off his nut, but she's going to accept it? And just, that whole setup is really, really just, let's be frank, it's stupid. I'm sorry. I just like, I mean, it could have worked if been done in the right way, but we have this very serious problem very serious story regarding, you know, people being killed in a terrorist attack and everything, and yet they insist on doing this whole over-the-top. Miller pulls all these, not Miller, Einstein pulls all these, like, exaggerated faces. Like, instead of just being really pissy, she's just like really, like, her mouth and eyebrows and everything were all over the place. And they're trying to add levity to a story that shouldn't have levity. This is a very sober subject, and Carter has got them being all very cartoonish. So the whole tonal thing is completely, you know, unbalanced just in that whole segment. And yes, then we come to Mulder's trip. Now, a lot of people, here is the other thing that was hyped, was that the gunmen were going to be back. We all knew it was going to happen. You know, nobody could talk about it, so we were just like, okay. So, you know, everybody was like, right, the gunman died, so how can they be back? And for those of us that read the comic, we were wondering if it was going to be handled, you know, going to turn out like in the comics that actually they're alive and in a bunker. And Dean Haglund, I've said this before, has always said he believes that it was all, you know, that actually they're alive because of numerous CDC regulations regarding the coffins, etc. But so we're all like, oh, maybe they are alive. I mean, my God, we got the smoking man that's alive somehow, even though he turned into a fucking skeleton in the truth when he was blown up. So, you know, it's remotely possible that the gunmen are alive. No, they're in Mulder's trip. So you're like, oh, okay then. So we find this out that, you know, they're all dressed as cowboys and that. We see the pictures, the promo pictures circulating. So it's like, oh, okay, maybe it's an alternate reality in Mulder's trip kind of thing. Maybe they're hiding out in some cowboy tavern or something, you know. No. We get to see them reenact the music video of Trace Adkins's Honky Tonk Badonkadonk. Because when you think X-Files, you think Badonkadonk. And I feel really weird for saying that on so many levels. Because Mulder's trip, unlike what, you know, we were led to believe maybe Triangle was, where, you know, it was like, was it all real? No, Mulder apparently fantasizes about dancing, line dancing, and somehow he knew the moves, which is really weird. I know he's an Elvis fan and that, but whatever. So he did line dancing. Now, a lot of fans immediately were like, yeah, David Duchovny line dancing. And I'm sure it's supposed to do it for me, but it didn't. Like, at all. Because then we get to see Mulder, like, being leery over scantily clad, jailbait, underaged women. And sitting there, like, with cigar-wielding lone gunman, and Skinner's there for some reason, which I could only assume was a callback to Triangle, just so he could say that the gunman and Skinner were there. And he's been all leery, and like I said, he's got this whole mushroom, like, I get mushroom, I get it, but yeah, he's got the whole, the ring, you know, the plates, kind of gold plates, with mush and rum, and you know what, I didn't actually even make that connection until just but then it devolves even further. I mean, we're talking about a man who's in his 50s, who has been in a serious relationship with a woman for quite some time now. And yes, he's having these bizarre visions of all these scantily clad women. And then it devolves into him laying on an alien abduction table. And Einstein appears for some reason. And in S&M gear. and whips him and tells him to say woo woo. And you know what? I don't even get why that wasn't Scully doing that. I mean, it wasn't even like... Bear in mind, I mean, think back to Kill Switch, where Mulder, you know, had those hallucinogenic sequences while he was hooked up to the computer of Scully, like, kicking ass, the nurses' asses. I thought maybe that would happen, but no, for some reason it's Einstein. And then, like, he's having this vision of being on this boat, and I get that it's the bad trip part of the trip, but, and then, like, Smoky Man appears, and finally he communicates with the young guy from the beginning, and it's just like, what? But then he doesn't understand the Arabic, and and then that's the end of his trip. Just like that. But then we're led to believe... Now, Einstein says it was a placebo. Miller seems to believe it wasn't, and that she was just covering her ass. But, I mean, that seems to be a bit hazy. I guess that she actually gave him mushrooms, but I still think that's against everything she believes in, and especially for somebody who's supposed to be so hard-nosed in that, I can't believe for a second she would even do that. And like I said, again, Scully would kick his ass, but she'd still, like, end up going, oh, okay, yeah, actually, maybe that's a good idea, you know, you've been right plenty of times before. But again, even then, this is behaviour we'd never seen from Mulder before. I mean, yeah, he'd go to any lengths to get the truth, but I just really can't believe that he would willingly just go, you know what, I want to communicate with the dead, let's take shrooms. Yes. This whole thing is just, and again, it's adding this, well, I use the term comedic loosely, because personally, I didn't find it remotely funny. It's adding this comedic element to this whole very serious story. I mean, my God! And in the meantime, we're still seeing all, you know, these other Muslims strapping bombs to their chests and going death to infidels and that. And it's a very white. It's the most whitest, most like Christian Catholic kind of view of other religions that I think I've ever witnessed on TV. Chris Carter just is so out of touch with life. He has his little bubble of his little view of everything, and everything else is wrong. But then we are talking about the man who believes Mulder and Scully had a platonic relationship, so whatever. But this episode is an embarrassment, and I keep saying awkward, but it is awkward to watch. And the whole porch scene from the end with Mulder and Scully holding hands was not what I was expecting it to be. And I mean, I love the Lumineers' ho-hey, like, beyond words. But we're talking about a show that has rarely used, like, actual licensed music to underscore anything. And a scene like that at the end, Mark Snow could have easily done. But it felt like they were completely... And I've said this time and time again while watching it, but it felt like Bones at the end. It felt like an episode of Bones or Castle or something like that, where they always kind of end with, like, the dramatic images as a pop song underscores it. And I was just like, that's not the X-Files. Why are they doing this? Now, I gotta believe that the whole hearing the end time trumpets at the end is gonna lead into the finale. Because of course next week is the finale of the series. I gotta hope that that's why this episode was moved. But I don't get why only Mulder would hear it, not Scully. This episode, seriously, it's just, I feel dirty for watching it. Because I can't believe for 1 second that would be seriously what Mulder would see. I mean, I get that it's magic mushrooms, you can't, like, that it is just a trip and mother love and all that. Yeah, okay, we get it, Chris Carter. You like to be pompous with your one language, we should all believe the same thing, ethos and stuff. But, yeah, just... what is with the whole mother love, like, summary? Like, I get they're going for this whole underlying story of Scully being a mother and, children and stuff like that, but, yeah, just, no. And that's all I can really say about this episode, is just, no. This episode, there are elements here that could have had so much promise. I didn't have as much of an issue with the notion of Miller and Einstein as a lot of other fans did. A lot of other fans were immediately like, oh, they're trying to ploy for a spin-off series with these two, and or they're going to continue the X-Files with Miller and Einstein and not Mulder and Scully. Damn them, Mulder and Scully are the X-Files. I didn't have that issue, because a lot of those fans are the same ones that have issues with Doggett and Reyes. And I don't have that much of an issue with Doggett and Reyes. I actually enjoy Doggett and Reyes. Yeah, unfortunately, when I was younger, I was a sheep, and, when people would talk about it, I totally agree with them. But in reality, I didn't have an issue at all. And especially as I've grown older, I appreciate those episodes much more. So I went in with an open mind regarding Miller and Einstein. And you know what? I didn't even mind the banter at the beginning between, like, the four of them, and watching, like, Mulder and Scully being mirrored, their younger selves being mirrored in these two. I didn't mind that. It was fun to see and very nostalgic, and that's where our problem lies, because, as I said last week with Home Again, the big thing they said at the, before this series came on was, we didn't want to do a victory lap, we wanted to come back with fresh new stuff. And it feels like they are doing a victory lap by having this baby Mulder and Scully and going, look what they were like back in the day before they were, changed each other and all that stuff. And I just didn't get why, like, neither Mulder and Scully, like, saw in their counterpart, like, what made them fall for, each other. There was no real appreciation. I mean, I got that Scully did that whole, oh, I believe you believe what you're believing, Miller, but it doesn't make me feel any more for Mulder, and we've had so much with them coming closer in a way, back to where they were. But I don't feel like the reasons for Mulder and Scully have really been explored, or that we see them coming back together or anything, or appreciating, why they fell for each other in the first place by working with, these two other agents. That could have been a perfect opportunity. And I just... we've had this whole throwaway line from Scully where she's like, oh yeah, this is how I like my Mulder, where she saw Mulder getting really into the monster thing in episode 3. But apart from, like, the awful throwaway clunky line of, like, oh, you diagnosed him with depression and that's what killed your relationship from episode 1, there's really been no, deepening of that rift. exploring it. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we've got 6 episodes. We've got 6 episodes to tell fresh stories. We do not, and I don't need to see, as David Duchovny said during the interviews in the lead up, you know, this is not the show where you see them going to counselling and stuff like that. That's fine. I don't need to see that. But I just feel like more could have been done to show them really finding that spark again. And yeah, just no. And I hope to everything that Chris Carter had to get this shit episode out of the way just so that, you know, the next episode will be good. And, you know, it looks like it will hopefully be he says it's going to be shocking and everything, but we'll see. I'm looking forward to it despite this, but this was really a lot lower than, as I said, I went in with low expectations, and unlike my struggle, which actually I found bearable, this was not. And I mean, for a show that said, oh, we've only got 6 episodes to tell these stories, to tell something that Chris Carter's all like, oh yeah, no, I wanted to show that, you know, we got the caricatures on the Fox News style, you know, the people arguing over the top on the news and stuff, but we want to demonstrate that that's not the case. But there's nothing to say. I mean, Scully has that throwaway line on, not all Muslims are terrorists, but it didn't feel very convicted because the rest of it was everybody being totally, oh yeah, no, it's death to infidels and stuff like that, even though that's not what the Quran teaches. But, you know, let's believe that all Muslims are out to kill everybody and are against America and stuff. No, they're not. And will you please not stop being ignorantly fucking set in this mindset? It's just so embarrassing and just like, it was awful. And there was just so much promise. And so many of the rumours were way better than what we actually got. And no wonder the critics didn't like it. Now, as I said, some people I've seen, because, you know, obviously, it's Wednesday now and this aired on Monday. You know, I've seen people say, I've tried to stay spoiler free, but I've seen, like, people, like, giving it ratings and that, and they're like, 6, but 8.5 for the hand-holding scene and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my god, no, just seeing Mulder and Scully hand-holding does not make it better. Now, if there's a reason why they're hand-holding, if there's that end scene, the talk, the script in that end scene wasn't even particularly enthralling. Like, if there was some depth to that, then I would have given the end scene a better rating, like everybody else. But no, it didn't. It didn't capture me. So I'm sorry, I've ranted about this enough. I've rambled on. I've not made much sense, and I've ended up just repeating the same old stuff. I gotta give this episode a 4 out of 10. I mean, it had elements that made me go, oh, this is cool. Like I say, like the interaction between the 4 at the beginning. It's not the worst episode I've ever seen, but it's certainly the most embarrassing. And that's all. I mean, it's watchable. It's watchable on some level. It's not the most boringest thing I've ever seen, especially from this show. It's probably the worst from Chris Carter. But just please don't watch this, people. I mean, I want to say watch it obviously to give the show ratings. But certainly don't watch it to give Chris Carter. I feel like a lot of people are making comparisons between him and who was it they were doing it? George Lucas. And it is. It's like he created it, but he really should not be allowed to go near it anymore, because I really feel like he's out of touch with the series and the characters. And I said this about the relationship between Mulder and Scully even. I just feel like he's completely out of touch with it. And I feel like, in a way, that, you know, Frank Spotnitz was the only one who kept him in touch on I Want to Believe. I mean, unfortunately, that movie was shit. But, you know, just... yeah, just don't. 4 out of 10. And fingers crossed. Fingers are crossed upon crossed that we won't get any stupid ass, long ass monologuing and pomposity and that in the final episode. We probably will, especially because they're dealing with end times and stuff, and what looks to be an outbreak of some virus from the previews I've seen. But fingers crossed. I'm annoyed that they're ending on a cliffhanger, because there's no guarantees that it'll be back. But I just hope it's not this bad. And I really wish that, you know, the other writers had worked with him on the finale, because that would have been an awesome, you know, if you know, the Morgans and Wong had written with Carter for this final episode, because I think that would have been a much more interesting episode to watch. But we'll see what happens with my struggle too next week, I guess. But thanks so much for watching and bearing with me and just watching me slowly lose my mind and feel dirty. I really need to go watch something. I'm gonna go watch a decent Chris Carter episode or something now, because I just feel really bad after watching that. Seriously. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. I do apologise for my ranting and rambling, but please leave your comments. Of course, the show's on Channel 5 here in the UK now. Finally, fucking Channel 5. And it's doing really well in the ratings. As far as I know, the first episode, the last time I heard, had about 3.4 million viewers, outdid all the other shows in its time slot, and has become Channel 5's highest ratings drama. So, yay, X-Files! I'm so glad that's doing really well here, as well as it's done everywhere else. But please check it out in the UK. Channel 5, is it 9 o'clock, I believe? I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. Please check it out, guys, here in the UK. And please check it out in the US on Mondays. Also on Mondays. 9 o'clock also, I think. But yeah, final episode next week, so looking forward to that. Can't believe we're already at the final episode. That's just insane. It's gone by so quickly. But thanks so much, guys, for watching. As I've said about 4 times now, I am ended this now. Take care, guys. Please like, subscribe and share your thoughts, and I'll see you somewhere down the line. For now though,